I'm going to be covering all things Dead Island builds. And this one specifically is a hack and slash build that's very evasive, also does insane amounts of damage, regens health very quickly no matter the character, and also has a self-CC built in. What's up, world? It's Char back in with another video, and today we're talking about all things Dead Island 2. Okay, so first up, I'll just hop into that I am playing the character Jacob, and mainly because that his damage kind of stacks endlessly, and I think it's like up to 40%. In fact, there was a few videos breaking down a few of the statistics with everything, and it seems like Jacob can get up to like a 40% boost, which was absolutely insane with that stacking successful attack boost. And you can also get a perk for that in the game, and I believe pretty much all of these characters, their perks are also able to be obtained through the card system, or at least some way through a mod on a weapon. I'm not 100% positive if these will stack together, if on a weapon and on the self perk itself, but it seems like they do, as this damage just feels absolutely insane. And with the built-in CC mechanic of this build, it essentially allows you to both output a ton of damage and then just let the CC take care of the rest. So I'll start with the build itself. Mainly, we're just trying to get those successful attack perks. That's the biggest one that you want to use here. And you also want to get a weapon with a nice attack speed. Now, seemingly all the weapons I've picked up so far have a 1.0 attack speed. And again, this is more like an early game build so that you can really get into things like below level 10, and it still is going to scale even better in the higher levels, I guarantee. But basically, the two perks that we're working with here is the successful attack perks, as well as the lightning mod, which seems to be one of the better ones early game that you get quite early. And this provides a ton of CC and allows mobs to just be kind of controlled and stunned. But it also not only stuns them, it does damage too. And so what I've noticed is by the time that I get them low enough to where the CC engages, or at least by the time that I get the CC to engage, which is only a few hits on some of the weaker mobs, so it stuns them and then it finishes them off, so I can just go ahead and loot, or I can attack other mobs that are in the vicinity. It's actually kind of a nice AoE thing because you can stun lock one mob and then kind of head over to another one, and more than likely the other mob will be finished or done, at least most likely by the time that you head back to that mob. And it actually works really good on bosses too, because it does CC them eventually. Now, you might be able to do it a little bit easier with a two-handed weapon if you did want to go that route, but I like the dagger and the claws. I think they're both really good. So you slap those two perks on, you get the successful hit rate mod, and then you also get the lightning mod. Now, these are actually labeled as the electrocutor mod, or the melee electrocutor mod, at least for the melee weapons, and then the second perk is lightweight. Now, I honestly do recommend the claws. They seem so fast and so powerful. It really does feel nice to use. But also the dagger feels really good as like a kind of a smaller weapon to get those successful hits out. Because really, obviously about this build is you're trying to get those stacks of buffs as quickly as possible, so that way you have that initial 40% damage increase. And then once you get that off the one mob, which will more than likely be finished after that point, then you can head over to another mob, which will give you that 40% increased damage over time, and more than likely you'll be able to keep that up. Now, I do believe that you get the claws somewhere along the lines with the campaign maybe, but around like level 6 or 7, at least if you do a side quest or two. And then for the dagger, I do believe it was a random drop. But there is also the cleaver, which is really good as well, and that one seemed to be quite earlier on than the claw. The cleaver swing really fast and was actually pretty nice. And two little quick tidbits is that you probably are more than likely going to have to be careful of like water scenarios. Found myself kind of electrocuting myself a few times on certain things. Just be wary that these will electrocute anything in the vicinity, including the water or anything around you. But yeah, this build is very OP early on, and I can only imagine it's going to scale incredibly with the later levels. We'll see what type of weaponry is there, but for the earlier levels, I do believe these are like green weapons, and so they're pretty quite early on that you get these things, or at least where you can establish a build. And I also do want to mention the perks that I use, because it does make this build a lot more fluid overall. And that is the Serial Survivor perk, which is only allocated for Danny and Jacob. And that is if you slay a zombie, you will then get a boost, or at least a minor damage boost. This is also going to give you incredible amounts of boost here. And then another really good one that I like is either Safety First, which is really good to rebuild your health in those AoE scenarios where you're constantly getting attacked, especially in certain boss fights, and just having to be able to regen your health. I do like that. But if you do want to have even more damage and you don't really care about the health stuff, then if you do come across the perk called Pain Threshold. I would get that, which allows you to either do the dodge or the block. Same with the health one, but when you do get a successfully timed block or dodge, it will then increase your health. I assume that if you're probably one of the blocking characters, you're more than likely going to want to take this one. But again, I left the perks here for last because essentially these are quite random, I believe, or maybe you get them every level, everybody gets the same one, I don't know. And I do believe that Danny already has the heal dodge perk, so if you have that character already, you're probably more than likely not going to want to take this perk, and you can go ahead and go with the Pain Threshold, which I do believe is another great perk just to have that incredible damage boost there from getting dodges and kind of constantly moving. It makes you very stealthy. It's probably a really good build for Bruno overall, the health perk at least for safety first, and being able to attack quickly. I've noticed that bosses a lot of times will get locked up, and so you can hit them in the back quite often, or at least like the crushers and things of that nature, they tend to get kind of locked up and you can hit them from behind a lot. Although this build works really well for hitting mobs in the head specifically, so make sure you're targeting that. You'll get those criticals to boost. Again, can be really good for someone like Bruno. And for curveballs, really, this is kind of just like an honorable mention, but you're really going to want to take the shuriken. I'm pretty sure the damage scales with everything, so if you're getting all these damage boosts, I would not use it at the start. Use it once you have all these damage boosts, and this thing just like takes mobs out. Like it just kind of like completely annihilates them if you can hit at least one, and so it's actually a really good tactic there with that throw. And so then this might even stack with someone like Amy. Her shuriken probably does insane amounts of damage because I think her throw ability gets a damage boost off successful attacks or things that, or like when a mob goes out of the crowd. So she'll have that damage boost on top of that, and the shuriken will just do absolutely insane damage. If you guys have any other builds that you really want me to check out, or the ones that you have done down below, I might do a tank build eventually as my second playthrough, so either Ryan or Carla, or maybe even try to have like a semi-tank build with Danny, because I think that could be kind of fun. So I'll probably end up doing a second playthrough. This game that actually seems really fun, and I've been enjoying myself quite a lot. I just missed Dead Island, and this does definitely have the spirit of it. I also want to mention here really quickly at the end that I did get partnered with Deep Silver, so hopefully in a few days or maybe in the week or so, hopefully sometime soon, I actually will be getting a key or maybe even multiple keys to give away. At least that's what I've been told so far, but I gotta wait for everything out, so keep checking out for a video on that. I haven't had anything come up yet, but I will let you guys know on that giveaway sometime soon. And I'll probably leave an updated comment in like all the Dead Island videos, so that way everybody can see it all at once, and then everybody can flood to the new video that'll probably have that giveaway showcased in there. I also just want to mention that it should be for any platform, I'm thinking, but I do have to make sure and confirm that 100%. And again, it's just going to be like one of those Gleam giveaways where I have the little Gleam link down below. It's a really simple task, like something small, so nothing new crazy there. But that does about cover for today's video, and if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe, and until the next one, deuce.